Who used their tissue? Raise your hand. Who was moved? Raise your hand. Who loved it? Raise both hands. Yes. I know, it's so awesome. I'm gonna stop talking because I know we want the three to come out right away, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's welcome them. Mari Yamamoto. Fraser. And the director, HIKARI. Oh my goodness. I know, I watched the film multiple times to prepare for this Q&A. I just couldn't stop watching it over and over and over again. So let's get right into it because we only have 20-25 minutes. So HIKARI, the director, HIKARI, you're awesome, you're awesome, yes! One more time, yes! Yes, Peter was saying it's been a very long time since he's seen an overflow like this. HIKARI, what inspired you to tell the story of rental families?
Oh my God, there's so many stories to go with this. Well, first of all, thank you for being here on Wednesday night. I'm so excited. I hope you got a babysitter or whatever. A little sake in you, etc. But anyway, the story was when me and my co-writer, Stephen Lehat, he was looking for a random job for an American person to do in Japan. And there was a butler cafe, you're being a butler and dressing up like a butler and serve alcohol or tea to Japanese people, to renting renting girlfriend, etc. And then the rental family business was one of them. And he came up to me, he's like, have you ever heard of it? And I was like, what? Rental family? Like, how can you rent a family member? And so it was from there, we just kind of started digging in and why this business exists, right, in Japan, like what kind of people who use this service, and vice versa, what kind of people give these services. So that was kind of like the starting point of, is there a story there? Like, yes, I think there's definitely a story there. And also, once we start talking about it, we hit the pandemic. That was a time that we pitched to producers and started talking, and remember that time, it was so terrible, and we just didn't know what was happening and what to expect in the next, who knows when, So in that moment, we felt there's that crazy isolation, we felt so lonely, so we both wanted to make a story that really helped that community and just somehow bring the people together through the story that, we wrote. And then, that was the beginning of it,
And during my research, I found out you talked to Brendan for 6 hours and finally got him, or I don't know, how did it go?
Well, I wrote the script and then just kind of wrote a script without not really having anybody in mind because the story was what we wanted to write, and we didn't figure out, I didn't want to cater towards anything because the message was very clear for me. And then when we start looking for actors and talents, I saw The Whale at the BAFTA screening, and he got sick that day, COVID, and he was on the giant screen doing Q&A. And when I saw that, I just felt that he was so incredible in the movie, and I kept thinking like I should be focusing on this movie, but I can't. Like he's so great. And then when I finally saw him on this giant screen, like he's like 30 foot tall, just like, hi everybody, and how kind he was and how generous he was, and he was just so incredibly like supportive of the cast, crew, like everybody, and I just felt it in my gut, and I always go with my gut. So that was kind of like the process.
That's great because Brendan was perfect for Philip. Don't you agree? So Brendan, how did you prepare for this role? You played the perfect American who's lived in Japan for 7 years. and you played that tree role very well.
Konbanwa. Genki desu.
Genki desu!
You know I've been waiting to say that. What did I do? I went to Japan, but before I did that, is Shu here tonight? Here he is. I'd like you to meet my teacher, Shu. Will you stand up, please?
Oh, sensei!
We spoke on Zoom for several weeks. Was it months? I don't recall.
Months.
We were spread out. I did my best with him. He's an excellent teacher. I read the script after I read it again. No, other way around. I went to Japan and I loved it. I'd been there before on press tours, but I was always locked in a hotel and answering questions to journalists. So on rare occasions, I would break out, and I took a trip to NYC Island in the Inland Sea, where Tadao Ando has a retreat that's typical for him. He uses concrete, and it's a beautiful thing. It looks like it's a spaceship gently landed in the side of a mountain. And I loved the country. That happened about 20 years ago. But anyway, I felt strangely at home in Japan. And I think it's because I uphold the same values of courtesy, of friendliness, of cleanliness, of rules following, not getting a bad meal anywhere. I love it. And then we set to rehearsing. I met with Mari, I met with Taka, I met with young Shannon Gorman, who's, come on, Shannon Gorman. I can't
That
hear
was her
you.
first time.
That's Mia, the little girl.
I've been texting with her dad earlier tonight. She sends her love.
Her real dad.
Correct.
And that was her first time acting.
Ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
So she's really incredible.
We stopped rehearsing because we didn't want to play her game in the locker room, if you know what I mean. So we just get her on set. She was perfect. She showed up fully formed. How lucky we were. Japan spoke to me. I wanted to be there. In my spare time, I would wander the streets. If there's a train station, I had to go and find out who had the best hot pot. Didn't matter. We rehearsed at Toho Studios for about 2 weeks. Various fittings and more language lessons and read-throughs, rehearsals, and then it came time to shoot. And we were underway for, how long was it for?
We shot about 2.5 months.
Yeah, for about 2.5 months.
A little less than 3 months.
Up first were the Sakura, which were a little bit late that year, so we had to shuffle the board around with the order of shooting.
We were chasing. It was cold that year and it rained a lot, so.
But we know that the seasons in particular are also a character in this film, so we wait until we had the perfect moment, and we shot the end of the scene first on that bridge with Shannon. That was like, I think, her first day, actually.
Second day.
Second day, so it was very early. What do I know?
First day was the one you guys first met. So
Oh,
that
of course,
was-
naturally, yes, that's right. we made that much of an allowance for the kid. Yeah, we'll go in order. The wind blew, the cherry blossoms disappeared, so it was really like capturing lightning in a bottle. Mari's turn to talk.
Yes. Well, I do want to mention one thing because Brendan mentioned the cherry blossoms. Did you all notice that the colors became more vibrant as the story progressed? The camera work was absolutely gorgeous as well. I want to ask you about that later, but Mari, how did you prepare for this role? Aiko, I know you have a journalist background, so maybe you had a different approach. Please tell us about that.
Right. I've lived multiple lives, and I've worked in publishing, I've worked in advertising, and then I'm also a journalist and I write as well. So, but the journalist part of me becomes really useful when sort of creating characters, because there's a through line in it for me that journalism is finding facts and building a story. And for acting, it's finding sort of like the reality of building the reality of the character, finding the truth of the character. So with this character, I first needed to create her reality, like day-to-day reality. So I wanted to know what the lives of these workers were for these types of companies. So Takehiro and I went to visit a company that provides this kind of service. They call themselves actually not a rental family service, but they call themselves an all-women handyman company. And it's interesting because what that does is to lower the threshold for people who are looking for this service, but they can come to you and not necessarily be so vulnerable in the beginning saying, I need a dad. They can come and say, I need my AC filter changed, or little things around the house. Clients would come to them with these little things and hire them for an hour. But these menial tasks only take 3 to 5 minutes. So then the rental family service would ask, would you like me to do anything else? And then it would most often turn out that they would just want companionship and conversation. So this would become sort of a regular client. That seemed to happen a lot. So it really brought home to us what an important role these people were playing in these people's lives, and how much of a need there was in Japanese society. Because as I understood it, or as from my lived experience as a Japanese person born and raised in Japan, I often feel like, the things that people love about Japan is that the people are so conscientious, so considerate and thoughtful, kind, all of these things, polite, and this is all true. I love that about us, but at the same time, I think it hinders us. It's a double-edged sword, because I think it hinders us from asking for what we need, because we are so conscientious of others and we don't want to burden even our loved ones with our problems. So in that way, I understood how important this business was, and therefore sort of connected it to my character's sort of belief in this service. She's the one that believes in this service the most. She's sort of like a gung-ho believer. So we built it from there, and I can keep going. I think the difficult part, I think, was that she's such a, Hikari and Steven have incredible backstories for each character. I would ask her questions and she would say, oh, that's because when she was 7, this happened. And I'm like, I'll take note, it's incredible the depth that, she really minds for each character, place, everything has so much meaning in this film. And so, she's such a strong character, and she goes so she goes an extra mile for the clients, but at the same time she's complicit in this apology service. But it just goes against her values and beliefs, from what she seems like. So that disconnect was something I really needed to work on, and it's all in the script because it says the apology service is the most popular service. So I was like, oh, she's such a believer in this service. So in order to provide the service to those who really need it, she needs to take one for the team and do this apology service so the business can keep going and she can be there for the people who need her. And there was a whole backstory that you had written, and we shot about her, something happening to her and people not being there for her. So I realized that's why it's a transference in a way, that she needs to be there in a compulsive way for people, so she finds purpose and healing in that. So that's kind of how I put things together.
I like all the research you all did with rental services. I had heard about it, but this is the first time I really looked into it because of today, and it's just really fascinating. I like what you said about how Japanese people don't want to burden people. So instead of calling their child and saying, look, I'm lonely, they want their child to live, right? They want their child to thrive and do what they're doing instead of having to worry about mom or dad.
And then also if you're Japanese, there's a word says honne to tatemae. Honne is your true feelings, and tatemae is your facade, right? So that word, as that word exists, we're taught from early on that you don't share your true feelings. And that facade is something that you keep because you want to maintain the harmony, as in this village culture. That's what we were kind of taught to. So because of it, for example, like Aiko's character for me was kind of representation of, not just only Japanese women or men, but like really Asian culture where there's the power dynamic that I kind of wanted to put her as a representation of that, a group where people don't get to really express what they're feeling, but then in the end she does, right? So for me it was kind of knocking on the door and saying, hey, if you're going through whatever she's going through, you gotta speak up, it doesn't matter, like you feel weird about it, just you have to speak up, because that would lead all of them to the next place, which is, like Tada the boss ended up just being honest. And then I really believe that if one person speak up, open the door, the next one opens, So those are kind of the idea behind on individual characters and what they go through.
Let's go back to, because I just got a cue card saying how much time I have left. So let's go back to what we promised we would talk about, the colors, the camera work, just so beautiful. Everyone, you notice it started a little bit blue, like Brendan's jacket. And then you saw these colorful hues later. Tell us a little bit about that.
I had an incredible production designer that I loved, and I worked on a show called Tokyo Vice, and the other gentleman, he's been around for a long time. She's done Beat Takeshi, like Kitano Takeshi's movies all around. And so my theme of this was just to start with blue, just kind of any kind of blue, but just really play with that. And then as the people, like Mia, the little girl, for example, comes into his life, then we'll add a little bit of hint of colors throughout. Like the little jellyfish to the drawings that she gives, and then we go to Cat Fest, and then when we get to the theme Kikuo, the older gentleman, his theme is actually ocean too, because we take him to the ocean at the end of the island, and as we go to the island, we just warms up everything. It just becomes like yellow and green and just earthy tone that I think as a human being, there's a sense in us that it just naturally, when you see nature, it just opens up. That's kind of a psychology thing that I'm just kind of weird about. Just like I like to putting into those little informations. So we built through that, and then production design. As I said, when, for example, when we went to the Team Lab, if you guys have been to Japan, a lot of people have. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. And they have so many great moments, the exhibition in that. And then that one hallway, that ocean comes in, and it's like almost black and white, but it's blue, dark blue. But then there's a butterfly comes in, and you have to time it too, because they don't just show up. You have to wait, because they're like people, like they're like, oh wait, I don't want to go around that corner. I'm just going to go this corner. But sometimes you wait and they don't show up. But then we find the timing. And then, we're like, oh, ocean, okay, the butterfly came, okay, let's go, Brendan. So it's really very much that.
And there was that line that Brendan says to Mia, Philip says to Mia, it's okay to pretend sometimes. Mm-hmm. You delivered that in a way that just made me feel like, oh my goodness, this guy is awesome. Which role in Rental Family was the hardest for you? You played a journalist, you played a father, you played so many, a tree, like I said earlier, the toothpaste man.
Love me some Clear Recto Man. Only brush the ones you want to keep, of course.
Well, it seems you enjoyed that role the most.
I love it.
We had so much fun. Oh
now I get to say I've done a superhero. Well, wear the tights at least.
But maybe all the roles are, I don't know. Was there one that you felt was kind of challenging, or maybe
they all
not?
are. If it was easy, everybody would be doing this job.
Well, you make it look easy.
Thank
You too.
I love working with Shannon, as you know, and I absolutely adored working with Akira Yamamoto-san, who, as I understand and you know well, he is a living treasure. And absolutely devoted to the craft. I could listen to him read a phone book, which is funny considering he does own a theater that he owns and operates, and he lives in the apartment above it. Every morning, 8 o'clock, he does something. Like he'll read something, a monologue, sometimes the
advertisement.
The advertisement for, like a phone book, basically, and everyone sits rapidly there. He's, certainly he has more English language comprehension than I had Japanese, so I think that we found a way to communicate with each other, whether language was an issue or not. He's clearly a communicator. He has heart and soul. If you look closely in that closing, one of the not closing shots, in the third act, when we're climbing up the mountain, and if you watch, you can see Akira like actually reaching back and grabbing me and pulling me up. And I needed the help.
So that was the hardest, maybe because of the climbing. That drone shot, by the way, was gorgeous of Yamamoto there last night.
Getting that tree. I was expecting a hobbit to walk.
Well, we didn't have a budget to build one, so we had to all the way to south.
But that's what's incredible about Japan. You have all these incredible locations. It's just blindingly beautiful.
The film was beautiful, so many beautiful scenes because of that. Okay, so let's go to kind of like a light question. If you could rent one of your cast members, who would it be and what role would they play? And I would also love to know what role you would be good at playing if you were rented. Okay, let's go, Brendan.
Well, I'm the fourth of four sons. I've always wanted a sister. So,
I can be your Asian sister. You have HIKARI and Mari.
I'm gonna have two twins or something. Sisters from another mister.
All right. If you were to play a role, what would you be?
For
Somebody. If somebody were to rent you, what would you want to be? A brother, a father,
the
a tree?
FedEx guy.
You would be good at delivering packages on time.
I deliver.
All right. How about you, HIKARI, cast member?
Well, I didn't grow up with a father. The Mia is like a total story about, like, based on my experience, because my mom used to lie to me all the time. Yeah, it's really crazy, but it's really funny. So I didn't have a father, so I would rent dad, and I would probably do Akira-san.
Yeah.
Just because, you know,
nice.
he seems like he has two sons, and then he just always like really collaborating with his kids because they're both great actors. They do plays together, you know. The way he talks about his kids is just he's like lights up. So yeah, I'd love to be his daughter.
And what would you would be? Oh, you would be his daughter, and he would be your father.
He'll be my dad, and I would be anybody actually. I'll be a wing girl.
Yes, I can see you being a really great wing girl, like, you know? Yeah, you'd be so fun. I would love to, do a come by with you. All right, Mari, how about you? Cast member, who would it be?
I mean, I have to agree. Yeah, right. It's Akira-san is like reminds me of my dad who passed. So Akira-san as my dad, but also Umesawa-san, she plays the housekeeper for Kiko's, like, you know, the tiny Japanese lady.
Yeah.
She's so cute, like in the green room. She would just like go to the farmer's market while she was waiting for her scenes, and like I would just peek into her green room, and she'd be just like looking at the vegetables on the table. Just thinking about what she's gonna make that night, and she was just so adorable. And I never met my grandmothers; they both passed before I was born, so I've always like envied people with that extra layer of grandparental love. So I would love to experience it from somebody like her. I love her so much.
Yeah. Her and Akira-san played a couple, like the married couple, before our project. So they're like, oh, what's up? Yeah. They play together all the time.
And really quick, did you mention who you would play?
Oh, as you can see in the film, I think I'm really good at yelling at people.
You would be the yeller?
Yeller. Like, if anybody needs like positive reinforcement, too, like, you can do it! Like, I'm happy to be I'll cheer people on. Yeah.
Okay, well, I've been told I need to wrap, so real quick, lightning round. HIKARI, what's your favorite season to film in?
Fuck.
Bleep that, no social media. No.
Excuse me.
I like this. Wing woman. Okay.
I love shoot. I would go to So because we had to follow, like it was so cold, we kept pushing the schedule. So I feel like fall is a little bit more kind to us.
Yes,
Because
yes.
Boston's only a week and a half or 2 weeks.
I asked that question because you just do an amazing job with the colors and the seasons. The shots were so beautiful. All right, Mari, you're bilingual and bicultural. Where feels like home to you?
Home is people.
Good answer. All right. Yeah. Sorry, I have to keep going. Is that okay? Okay. Brandon, you studied Japanese language and culture for the role. Do you have a favorite Japanese word?
お疲れ様でした
Yes, I love it. We're gonna say it all together later, so get ready. All right, Hikari. Oh, sorry. No, Brendan, go ahead.
Like now?
No. Hikari's gonna share in a moment,
I
so
only
practice.
give you a day.
Oh, you're awesome. Okay, so Hikari, I would love for you to share your closing message. I know
Okay.
you always have a beautiful message for your audiences.
I don't know if it's beautiful or not, but there's a message. Whatever you took away from this movie, amazing. Take it with you. And but I just want to say that if you ever, anybody in this room that feel like you're stuck or you're alone, or you don't know how to really express your feelings or whatever, you have to make the first step. I know it really takes a lot of courage to do so, but then just please do that, because when you do that, the door's going to open, and there's usually somebody, I believe, that is going to be there for you. So don't be afraid to be that, to make that first step. And if you're not that person, then just when you finish this movie, when you walk away from this theater today, and if anybody comes to your mind, just pick up the phone and just call them. Not texting, just call them, because chances are that you're receiving their energy and that they may want to talk to you. And they might say, oh, wow, I didn't think about you, but like, hey, thanks for the call. Even that person might have said that, but it's still, you're connecting with individuals, and that's very important. We miss these moments nowadays so much. We are always on this phone, always swiping left and right, and that doesn't really help us to find a connection. So please do that, and know that whatever your decision you make in your life, we're all divine beings, right? We're all here. So whatever the message you get, when you get lost, just listen to your heart, because that's where your answers are. And again, if that answer take you to the wrong direction you feel like in that moment, chances are you're gonna learn from it, and another door is gonna open. And so please, remember that, and let's just, have a good life. Let's enjoy this moment together. Okay? Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. I'm gonna let Brendan lead. His favorite word, "Otsukaresama deshita," means it's a one way of saying thank you at the end of a beautiful project. Brendan, I'll let you lead on the count of 3, 2, 1. Everybody say "Otsukaresama deshita" together.
Doing it again?
We're doing it together to end the evening with a beautiful ribbon. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Otsukaresama deshita!
And if you can't get into Wicked, or your friends can't either, we got ya.